let's go all the way back. I think I've known you now for probably, guys, it's got to be 5 or 6 years now that we started all the Men of Iron stuff way back in the day.
100%.
What I want you to do for me, Kel, if you can, just for listeners that either know you or don't know you, I want you to do me a favor and start from, your business beginning and give me a summary of kind of what that was like going through raising kids and doing family, and just give us a little bit of a synopsis of what that was like for you.
Well, I mean, if you go way back, my first business was like legit during universities when I started my first business. And so I got 10 years of solid business work in before I had my first kid. And I can tell you that life is different when you're young doing business versus kids and older doing business. So I think they're incomparable. When you're young and you don't have kids and you can do things and you think you have a level of stress that you don't even know what stress is until you add kids into that mix.
I love when people talk about being busy and they don't have children and spouses and business partners and
right? When you're answering to yourself, your level of freedom is like the difference between like the president of the United States and an Alcatraz prisoner. Like what we're talking, like when you don't have to answer to people, when you can just, I'm running my own business, and that level of busy is not compared to when you have kids and a spouse and staff and business partners and that level of busy. And then you still have to, hopefully you've made a real business where you're not a linchpin in the business anymore, but that's a whole nother conversation, I think.
Totally. So you went through all this stuff. Kids came along, and have you been in Edmonton or thereabouts most of the time after kind of going through Cairo school?
100%. You betcha. Yeah. Everything kind of was based around, for me, has always been based around Edmonton until I started to really investigate the whole internet, right? Where you can start to see a different level of what the world economy is doing compared to what your tiny little local community is doing.
The microcosm. So you guys built an incredible business. I mean, again, this is just an external view. It's my lens. You guys built a pretty extensive business in Edmonton. Walk us through kind of what that looked like, because it was multiple offices, it was business partners. Like, just give me a synopsis of that.
Okay, so my first clinic I had on my own, completely just run myself. Built it was 3,300 square feet, multiple disciplinary, and I just lost the joy out of running that massive machine. I didn't love it anymore. I lost the juice.
The busier you get, kind of the more you realize you're your own prisoner, don't you?
100%.
And this is the thing that I warn a lot of chiropractors about, is it's like, it's great to make a bunch of dough, but you actually end up imprisoning yourself in what it is that you're doing. And that's where you got. And then what did you do?
I actually brought on an associate and sold it. And it was a really interesting time for me because I had created an identity for myself that I was a chiropractor. And now what am I? Am I a businessman? Am I a ex-chiropractor? You went in, there was an in-between there too, because you kind of went, okay, you sold that, but then you got in with Divine Spine, right? Oh, totally.
So Divine Spine was also kind of a mix, kind of interbreed of where you're kind of headed now, but you had kind of chiro. It was healthcare, but describe that to people for a second.
Yeah, so that's when I met my my business partner back then at the time, is because I didn't have anything, and he was opening a third clinic, and he's like, "Hey, dude, can I help you?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not helping. I'm not doing this anymore." I'm reinventing myself. And he's like, I really need some help. And I said, fine, I'll give you 3 months. And that 3 months turned into 5 years and 12 locations. And yeah, I mean, it worked out beautiful because I learned a ridiculous amount about business, expansion, better, bigger, huger mindsets, bigger visions from him. He continues to be a mentor of mine, and he's like he could see big. And when you see big and you're around big, all of a sudden you start seeing big.
All right. So you guys, you're not doing that anymore, are you?
No, I
left that. So you guys were at what, 12 facilities when you left Divine Spine, kind of up and down the number 2 highway?
Yeah, you betcha.
Okay. All right. And then what made you go, okay, this is my time to tap? Because you still had, I think up until maybe even last year or the year before, you still had your own facility.
Right. Until January.
Until of this year.
Of this year.
Wow. Yeah. So you had your own facility and something started to change for you. I mean, in multiple aspects, but you went into what you're doing now because you've got multiple projects that are going on, which I'm aware of. But walk me through the flow of that, because I know that you've been kind of in search of the next thing.
Well, I mean, I in the same time that this whole thing was happening with Divine Spine, I, in my back of my head, really wanted to pursue education, and not personally education, but more like online education. I like in 2017 is when I decided that I wanted to get into the online education space, and I wanted to create educational products that were innovative, that were engaging, and that were effective for people, because I had taken my fair share of online prior to that. I thought it was the worst experience ever. And I just firmly believe that I could do better. So that was when I started into that world of building something significant online. And meanwhile, I'm still working in this world here, and I'm trying to, balance those two things of doing what I truly want to do versus doing what I have to do.
The engine.
And right, it's a balancing act. There's no doubt about it. But if you do it any other way,
you implode somewhere.
Yeah, 100%.
So you were morphing this facility you had, which was mainly chiro. Then all of a sudden you added something else in your business that has since taken off and gone boom. And I'm assuming it's still on a similar trajectory because you've just built out a new space for it.
Yes.
Correct? So,
yes.
And we don't have to dive too deeply into that, but like you still have we'll call it a healthcare engine that runs, and you are now working how many hours a week in there?
Like anywhere from 0 to 4.
0 to 4 hours a week. So what you've done is you become now the CEO of a healthcare business.
Yes.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Right? You have a facility that is, I'm going to use one of your own old terms, epic, and is now.
It is actually.
Right. And Brent, do you want to share a little bit about that? Is that something you want to share? Because it's not something that is your passion piece. It's more just like you've taken something with your business savvy and become a CEO of a healthcare clinic that is, again, like an engine for you to be able to create space for the things that you're doing right now, correct?
100%. Yeah. So, and what's for me is I believe that everything moves you towards where you're supposed to be. And one of the things that I see again is like, I don't want to still continue to be trapped inside a local economy. And I believe that even inside the facility that I've just built out, I have the potential for a bigger reach. I have the potential to increase that reach through education, through being unique in my space, through being the guy that is speaking up for a passion and a mission that I believe has massive impact for people's lives. And so it's like, oh, wow, look at this. I can follow my passion, still do some business, which, like, as you said, is still kind of, create space and freedom, and bring that back into it and say, here's my soapbox. This is what I'm about in this space now. And
I think the neat thing about what you've done is you've been able to create this engine. And this is what a lot of chiropractors talk to me about. It's like, I want to be able to do this thing, but I work 70 hours a week within my practice, within my business. I still stay in my business because I've eliminated it to like 3.5 days of things that I really enjoy doing. And there's lots of people that have gotten to that place. There's people like yourself that have gotten to a place where it's like, hell, like I like this thing, but this is purely my engine. And I don't have to physically be in there because I've got this thing that's been like slapping me in the face for like 10, 15, 20 years, which is what you're now doing. So what you've done now is you've created an engine. You're now the CEO of that business, essentially. And now it's now created the space for you to be able to go on and do what we're going to talk about. So the first question I'm going to ask you is, like, you've got this World Wide Web. You got the world is your oyster, as they like to say. Who specifically are you helping?
I love it. So I initially wanted to try to help as many people as possible.
Of course, that's the spider web. I want to help everybody.
Right. And I've since decided that no, I don't really want to help everybody anymore, but just because I'm not ready. And I don't think, like, there's a lot of factors that go into that, but I think when you're first really pushing out into a new space, you should really be specific who you're working with, right? Yeah. So I like working with professionals. So professionals like doctors, lawyers, dentists, people in that healthcare space. That space is my home. I love it there. I also really, really value and appreciate relationship experts, people that can help me improve relationships with other people interpersonally and like relationship with self. So those two are my absolute passion.
So you're specifically, you love working with the professional that has a similar background, but who is it specifically that you think would be like yearning for what you have? Like who exactly is it that you're looking for? What are they looking for?
Oh, what are they looking for?
Yeah, what are they looking for?
That person is looking for a way to increase impact and provide an educational outlet to bring new people into their business.
Got it. Okay.
Right. So anyone who's in a space, whether it's relationships, health and wellness, and I have some wealth builders as well.
Okay.
So wealth, health, and relationships.
Okay. So I can maybe give an example for people that are watching. It's mainly kind of a chiropractic healthcare community that we have here. So I grew up in a dental family. My father loved the art of dentistry. He was one of those rare dentists that he didn't money business. He was not that guy. He was like, he just loved the art of dentistry and would criticize and critique any other dental work because he was just like, he was a perfectionist and he loved it. And I admired that a lot.
You bet.
But a lot of dentists that I talk about are like, why am I doing fillings and cleanings and all this kind of crap? Why am I doing all the low buck things? What I'm really good at is implants, or what I'm really good at is root canals or environmental dentistry or whatever it is. So the ideal dentist that would be coming your way would be somebody who is definitely like getting clearer on their niche and then trying to figure out, well, how do I reach the person that's been looking for the exact thing that I'm talking about? That's kind of like the idea that you're talking about here.
1,000,000%. 1,000,000. You nailed it, dude.
And then you got to, so in Men and Women of Iron, as you know, we work with chiros that are all over the board. And this is why I'm for chiropractic, I'm an advocate for diversity. So I love that, like, there's chiropractors that do activator, there's chiropractors that do advanced biomechanics. There's chiropractors that do everything under the sun, and there's neurochiros. There's a million different things, but I think it takes even most chiropractors 10 to 15 years of just jumbling through stuff before they figure out, well, what is it that they like and what they enjoy. And some of them are like, why am I even here in chiropractic? So with chiropractic, it's the same thing. Is once docs have figured out, like, this is who I am, here's my values, and here's who I like to serve, you're going to help that doctor that has figured that out and wants to create a streamlined way of targeting people that are looking for exactly them. That's kind of the idea, I think, behind it.
Yeah. So this is the thing. In the way, this is my 100% all-in vision of the world, and I've proven it several times, is that as a healthcare practitioner, particularly a chiropractor, you need to have new and innovative ways that allows people to find out who you are, to experience you on an easier level of entry.
Yeah.
And then once they experience you, you can take that, and that you need to be able to monetize that, whatever that is. So I'll give you an example. Mine was a healthcare class that was all diet related. And I took that healthcare class that was diet related health, and I posted it everywhere so that people could start to experience me.
Yeah.
And then I turned that diet care class into a seminar, and I turned that seminar into a new patient exam. And I turned that new patient exam into a really easy conversion to a new patient. So that stupid little class that I put on ended up monetizing at least 30 to 1 across the board, because it's virtually freaking free to advertise classes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not hard to fill. People bring their friends. It's non-evasive. It's an easy way to get to know you. And if you haven't figured out that you need to have a different way than just internal referrals or running Facebook ads, you're missing the boat.
Yeah, there's so many different streams. And I think that's where a lot of people fail, is because they're looking for the easy way out of it. But once you do the work, like you and I have seen, once you do the work to set up the systems, which takes some work, let's be honest, once you get that set up, then it does become easier and easier, because the funnel gets bigger and it just continues to feed it. Okay, so how, if you can do this in like 2 minutes, I don't know if you got the ability. What is the how? How exactly do you help people that are looking to target their market better? What is it that you do?
Okay. I specifically help people find a mission. And if you don't have a mission and you're not passionate, then I don't work with you at all. I just
want to make more money, Doc. Come on, just fill my books.
Right. That's not my guy. My guy is somebody who has a passion for what they're doing and wants to take it on as a mission. So if you have a mission base, we can take that mission and put it into a product, monetize that product so that you can actually create an easy flow for higher conversions on the back end. So whatever your conversion is now, we can increase it by 15, 20, 25%.
And that's through providing content, by creating systems, by creating programs that become monetized in the end.
Right.
Okay.
Everything needs to be monetized throughout the process.
Okay.
Don't have to give shit away.
My last question, and this is basically what you just said, is you don't work with people with a mission. You don't work with people that can't identify with what their values are. If people are just trying to make more money, all right?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this, man? Why are you here?
Dude, I am here because I was a fucking terrible student. No, really. Like, I was in special class. They put me in special class. And if it wasn't for one teacher who didn't change my life, I wouldn't be here today. And so I have a very passionate, dear heart for education, and education is moving online. And if you're not part of that, I want to disrupt our education and make it such that it is so compelling and engaging that anybody can learn anything online anywhere.
And this soothes your soul because why?
I don't know. It doesn't soothe my soul. It more fires me up, dude. It's just
that's
like,
what I mean. It soothes your soul. It fires you up. It juices you. Like,
It juices me.
the tiny little hairs that you still have dingling in there stand on end, and you got a little.
They do. They're on fire right now, just talking about it.
Are you able to articulate in a sentence what your mission statement is then?
It's to create the most engaging online content available on the web.
Awesome, brother. Where if I'm a doctor or a healthcare practitioner, and I'm like, okay, I've been just trying to figure this out. I keep walking around the interweb, and I'm throwing out ads, and I'm just tossing stuff out randomly, and someone's like, I want to know more about, like, how do I streamline this? How do I take this from a concept and an idea to something that becomes monetized, that continues to fill what it is that is aligned with me as a healthcare practitioner? What's the way, like, how do I get a hold of you, Doc, and how does that engagement process look like?
Probably the best thing to do is just the online version of what I talk about is in Learn It. So
okay, let me write this down. Give me some info here that I can write down for people that are watching us.
Okay, so lrnit.ca.
That?
.ca.
Okay, so that's where they can find all the information that people need.
That's where you can find everything. The other way that I always just say is just, reach out directly. Obviously, people can message me through Messenger or whatever, but dude, I'm still a huge fan of just like email, you bet. So you can hit Dr. Kelly. It's just Dr. Kelly at learnit.ca, dude. Yep.
Okay, cool.
That's it. And barring that, you can freaking text me if you want to.
Listen, Doc, what I love, and thank you for being here today. What I love about what you've done is this is what you and Dr. Ed and all of us have been talking about for how many years, is how do you get clear on what you want, where you want to go, and then how do you actually make that dream a reality? And what I respect and admire the most about you, Doc, is that you're one of the few who have actually done this. So if you're watching this now or later or whatever, I want you to understand that this is a guy that I used to love, because you can talk, man. But some people talk smack and never ever take action. That is not who you are, man. You've taken some big leaps and made some what you've accomplished is flabbergasting. It's absolutely amazing. Anything else that you can think of that you would appreciate sharing before we have to blow off?
I wanted to share out my first meeting with you.
Are you going to keep this sane or what?
Because that first meeting, and I will never forget this, I had no idea what to expect. I was standing on the street corner. It's 5 a.m. in Victoria. You got out of this van. You gave me a
shroud.
A shroud, thank you. And you're like, get in and shut the fuck up. It was literally an abduction, and that was my very first, and it just got better from that second on.
Very few people get the Navy SEAL Ryan Doyle anymore. Those experiences were some of my favorites, and
right? Those were amazing, dude. Amazing.
Listen, pal, thank you for coming on today. I really appreciate you, and I hope that I hope that people reach out to you in droves. As there's very few people that have the level of experience and competence to do what it is that you do, my friend. So I'm going to say thank you. Please reach out to Dr. Kelly. He knows what he's talking about. If you have any questions about how to monetize ideas and dreams that you want to do that's outside of your just regular practice, and kind of trying to create that freedom or escape from being a busy, successful, productive doctor, and you want to do so in a way that creates more freedom for you, this guy.
Thank you, brother.
Doc, thank you. Appreciate it. I hope we should talk soon.
Absolutely.
Other than throwing you in the back of a van with a shroud and a blindfold.
Thanks, brother. Miss you too, Bill.
Appreciate you, man. Bye for now.
Thanks.